Yeah, no worries. Yeah, I just listened to everybody. I think it's fantastic. A lot of great pointers, and I think it's extremely helpful. At the end of the day, it really is just about being a human, being organic, having conversations with other humans, right? It's not rocket science, but I think at the end of the day, the complexities around sales, specific to lead qualification and lead generation. It can seem difficult because you got to get through the weeds, unfortunately. And, you can have a lot of great conversations with people at events, whether it be a virtual or in-person event. And I consider those prospects, right? You're not even really a lead yet, until you kind of qualify them and then they become, a qualified lead, right? And that's the goal that we're after, right? Those are the conversations that turn into true opportunities for the collective. So today, I don't have any visuals or anything to share, but I'm just going to kind of talk high level, some tips, tricks, pointers, that things to think about, that might be helpful out there in the wild, as it pertains to driving in leads. And I'm also preparing just a little cheat sheet document that I think that might be helpful, just with like certain objections and questions and things like that, to get more into the nitty gritty. But yeah, I mean, diving into the sales process, guys, and focusing on lead generation and qualification is extremely important, right? It's where it all begins. And I understand, Dorg, is mostly made up of a technical group, right? But at the end of the day, I believe we're all salespeople to some extent, right? And and Dorg as a collective, can benefit from understanding how to ask the right questions, qualify leads effectively, and have those meaningful conversations, right? But first, I just, for those who are not familiar with the sales process, I just wanted to touch on it from a really high level for a moment. It's really a journey. It starts with lead generation, like I mentioned. It goes through a qualification process, and hopefully, it ends up with closing a deal, right? And driving revenue into the collective. So I'm going to zero more in on the first two parts, which obviously are crucial in setting up the stage for any successful sale down the road. Um, when it comes to lead generation, it's all about identifying potential customers that are essentially interested in our services, right? We need to, drive this forward in certain ways that are the most effective. And I believe, if you look around you, we have many tools at our disposal. All right. Things like content marketing, social media, email campaigns, tapping into your existing network and just having conversations with people. Attending in-person events, can be highly effective, and I know Max and Ori and Lansky, you guys touched on this, and this is great preparation, right? Being proactive, knowing your audience. A lot of these events come with attendee lists of companies that are sponsoring the event, and you can kind of do a little bit of homework ahead of time. Won't take a lot of time, especially with all the tools out there today. And you can proactively understand, who that audience is going to be down to the individual, and try to maybe book time with them, as Lansky was mentioning, and being proactive in that sense, through Telegram or through other avenues, right? It never hurts to be proactive, and especially if you're genuine and you're interested in what they're working on, and you ask the right open-ended questions. People love to talk about what they're doing. It's just human nature, and if you can lead a conversation in that fashion, you might even make a good friend. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's just important to think about those things and to really echo what others have said today, with just being passionate about what you're doing, and being genuine on how you do it, right? Truly care about what these prospects who eventually could become qualified leads, which eventually could become revenue, and even reoccurring revenue for the collective, right? Referrals to the collective, right? These are the things that we kind of think about, right? Um, you know, when I drill down at some of these strategies, and a lot of you know about this stuff. I think it's really a matter of executing it, right, and doing it in somewhat of an organized manner. For content marketing, develop technical articles, blog posts. Put together white papers. You know what I mean? You really have an opportunity to showcase your domain knowledge as technical experts, right? I think somebody mentioned earlier, there's some folks on the call today that are really good at smart contract development. Some are good at front end development. It's a great opportunity to not only build your own personal brand, but really showcase that knowledge to your audience, and you'd be surprised at how quickly those conversations could lead into potential qualified leads, right? Being active and engaging on social media, other relevant online communities, whether it be GitHub, Stack Overflow, Twitter, opening Twitter spaces up, and really just kind of being out there, having a presence. Um, Webinars and podcasts, right? Host or participate in additional webinars and podcasts on topics that are appealing to you and the audience that you're going after, right? Again, showcasing your skills, your knowledge. I know we have, as a collective, we have Hot Seat, which I think is fantastic. And being involved with that, I think kind of leads us in that direction. So I encourage everybody to participate and go out there and even have your own little forum out there on a Twitter space, right? However you end up doing it. Um, when you talk about meeting people in the real world, going out in the wild, how do we really maximize the outcomes? And I think this again echoes what some other folks said today, but preparation is key. On making the most out of any event, whether it's in real life or it's just a virtual, meeting, 30 minutes in the calendar. I mean, I think preparation is very important, right? Before attending any of these events, you want to research the event's agenda, who the speakers are, the companies involved, the topics that are being discussed. This is all ammo, right? These are conversation starters. There's no magic script. It's just about being genuine and being a human being and understanding what these topics are. These are interesting topics to obviously other attendees, and you can spark a conversation based off a common interest, and that could lead to them opening up and talking more about what they're involved with, what they're building, what type of challenges that they're facing and they need to overcome, and that might be you're in right there, right? So, just some food for thought on as far as some strategies that you can kind of approach that we're all very familiar with, but how we do them and execute them is what I think is important.